Hello, welcome back to Leicester Fan TV. This is the Foxes Focus show. We'll be talking all about Leicester, but most importantly, the game of the weekend against Portsmouth at the King Power Stadium. I've got Simon joining me tonight. Good evening, Simon.
Good evening, Jono. Nice to be with you again.
Yes, you've had a bit of a work break, but now you're back. It's nice to have you back. So before the international break, don't forget to leave your comments. Me and Simon will read them out throughout the show. And don't forget to follow us on our socials below. Before the international break, I had Phil with me, so appreciate Phil for joining me. And I asked Phil a question that I would like your opinion on as well, is that what's your opinion on how the season's been prior to this international break? How would you rate the season? How do you think Cifuentes has done underneath the circumstances? How do you think the players have done? And when afterwards we'll talk about what we need to do going forwards to fix any problems that we might be having.
Well, for me, if you'd asked me in the summer after the calamitous season we had last season, let's be honest, we went from bad to worse. We went from frying pan to fire through Cooper and Van Nistelrooy, a disaster of a season. Cifuentes comes in late, as we talked about on this show before. He doesn't get a full pre-season. There's a lot of whatever going on in the summer, and he doesn't get a full pre-season. He gets straight on a plane to Austria, and he has to get straight into a pre-season tour. And Andy King, I think we both agreed, did an honourable job of getting him fit before Cifuentes turns up. But given all of that, and as the season started, I didn't really know what to make of it. We didn't really know what Cifuentes was going to bring to the party. It was a spluttering start, in my opinion, against Sheffield Wednesday. You know, first half was pretty poor, second half better. We've seen quite a bit of that this season, where second halves have been better than firsts, quite a lot of it, in fact. However, as a kind of summary of the kind of term report, if you want to call it that, for Cifuentes to date, given the time he had, given the lack of funds that he had in the summer, given the fact that we only brought in loan players, apart from obviously Bergovic as a kind of backup keeper, I think he's done very, very well, John. I think to turn that oil tanker of a mess around that quickly, and us to be sitting in third place, having only lost one game so far this season, is decent, more than decent. It's good, very good. There are issues, as we all know, with what we've got. Not saying at all that's Cifuentes' fault, because I don't think it is. That he's going to have to work with all season, or at least until the winter transfer window opens. But so far, so good for me, John. I think he's done an honourable job, and I think he's shown a lot of commitment, passion, and dedication to the club to get it to where it is to this point.
I mean, with also the background noise of a points deduction, transfer embargoes, all those things, we could talk about them to death, but it's all in the air. It's all uncertain. The trials are starting, probably already have started, but all the Cifuentes can do is control what's on the pitch, and what he's doing on the pitch is, I'm impressed. Is is the football always perfect? No. Has he made mistakes? Yes, but not many. But I've been impressed with his way of the thing I'm most impressed with is his way to adapt very quickly to a bad situation. We haven't seen that happening in a long time. Remember under Enzo, the 50th minute, we're so under pressure, and I'm thinking, screaming, saying, make the sub. And then we can see, then we make the sub. But under Martin Cifuentes, as soon as I see us start to struggle, the two players already lined up on the sideline, ready to come on. So that's what I'm most impressed by, is that reactionary thing that he does when we're under pressure. Even making subs at half time, which we rarely ever see. He's made a few subs at half time I'm impressed with. But going forwards, now our last game before the break was Swansea, and I thought there's a very good last half, again, second half performance, which got us the win. We're talking before we came on air about possible changes we need to do going forwards, not only to make us more consistent, but to score more goals. Now, one of the changes we discussed was definitely the striker. Now, Daka's not good enough. We all know Daka's not the prolific striker we need. So what would you do, Simon Cifuentes, going forwards in order to fix our goal scoring? Because Coventry scored 27 goals, and they're flying high at the top of the Championship table. Yes, only 3 points ahead of us, but they're 14 goals ahead of us. So what would you do to fix that problem?
Well, I mean, stark facts. We lost in the summer one of the best strikers that the Premier League's ever seen in Jamie Vardy. We brought in a guy, no disrespect to him because it's too soon to make judgment, from Feyenoord, who had largely played most of his career in the MLS and has scored from memory 4 goals for Feyenoord last season. So that, on paper, is a significant downgrade in our attacking ability as a club available to us. Now, I agree with you, Jono, that Daka right now is the best option in terms of what we've got available in theory. However, we've given Ayu a go at the start of the season. He's honest in his endeavour, but he's not going to get you the goals, as you alluded to. 27 goals already for Coventry. I think we all understand that if we're going to get promoted this season, we need to be scoring more goals. Most games that we've won by the odd goal. And there's been a lot of games so far this season where we've been going into the last 10 minutes with only a goal lead. And then you get this whole psychology on the pitch of sitting deeper and deeper while the opposition heat pressure on you. We don't want to be in that position every game. That's tiring as much as anything else for the players to have to manage. It'd be far better if we could get ourselves 2 or 3 goals ahead. We're comfortable. We can manage the game. The other team will not be so. They won't put so much effort into trying to get back into the game if we're well in front. So ultimately, we need to find something to get us some goals, and we cannot, in my opinion, rely on the likes of Jordan James, Abdul Fatawu, etc., to score enough goals to get us promoted. It's not, you can't expect your midfield to promote you. You need a striker scoring goals and getting you 15 goals. So there is only one left that we haven't tried, to my knowledge. And anyone out there who's got any other ideas, then please drop it in the comments and we'll bring it into the debate. But for me, it's time to bring Jake Evans into the mix. I wouldn't start him, John. I'd start Patson Daka this weekend, but I'd have Evans on the bench and I would give him 20 minutes. If the circumstances of the game allowed, I would give him 25 minutes and give it a go, because it's the only option that we've not tried. And the other options so far, including Carranza in the bits he's played, have largely been underwhelming.
I agree. I mean, I've always said this I think this is one of the biggest reasons as well is for last season, we really struggled is because when we had Rue for the majority of the last season, there was no competition. No matter how poorly the players played, they kept their place and he kept the same tactics. So the players didn't have a reprimand for how poorly they played the previous game. Now, we've seen on the Cifuentes, Mavrididi has not been performing. So what did Cifuentes do? Swapped him for Monga. What's Monga done? Completely outplayed him. And Monga's been the difference maker, I think, on the wing in the last few games. Now, if we've got 2 options. We've got 3 options: Daka, Ayu, and Carranza. All of them are poor. If we bring in this 17-year-old kid, and he's before only, as I said, bring on for a cameo, 15, 20-minute cameo. If he performs well, that's saying to Daka, I'm being outplayed by someone that's half my age. And that should either, one, provoke Daka to score goals, better to score more goals, well, score any goals, and give competition. I think there's always good room for healthy competition in a football club, because there isn't, you get stagnant and you just get comfortable. And it's worked with Monga. It's worked with Page. Page looked really good as a number 10 when we played in the cup. So why not try Jake Evans up front? You never know, if we do get a transfer embargo, he might be our only option going forward in the future.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens, unless Evans kind of really clicks in and becomes the antidote, in January we need to do business for a striker. I think that's clear for me. There's not the goals in that pool of attacking players there as it stands. I think we've seen enough to understand that they're not going to get the goals we need. If we're serious about top 2, then they're not the players. So, Coventry are beating teams 5 and 4 and 3, and they're making things easy for themselves.
Yeah.
We're making things hard for ourselves by winning games 2-1, 1-0, and these scrappy games where you sat there biting your nails for the last 10 minutes, to try and see if Leicester are going to get 3 points or not. We need to start winning games more convincingly for me, and that comes with a striker, and it starts right now because we're lumbered with what we've got with Evans getting a chance and seeing if he's better than what we've tried already. For me,
well, as PFW stated, that Jay Evans is a good idea. Let Daka run around, tie the defence, and bring on Evans. But then my argument to that would be, is yes, Daka come on for most of the game, but then I'm worried that we won't score many goals in that time, relying on a 17-year-old kid to bail us out of his 1-1 or 0-0. And again, I want to go what Simon's been saying is I want to be at least two goals ahead by the 70th minute, so we're not having squeaky bum time, hoping we don't concede in the last 10 minutes.
It's not easy to manage, and we're seeing mistakes. I mean, let's move on, Jono, to Wout Faz, because this is something else that I've got a bone to pick with you tonight about, Jono. The lad's obviously an intelligent lad, right? He's a good player, right? He can score a goal. He can transition defence into attack. He's got some culture with his feet. He's got some creativity. I used to love it when he played under Maresca. Maresca used to encourage him to run from the back into through the midfield and drive the game forward. We don't see that from him anymore, and you can only assume that the manager's telling him to stay at home and not do it, which for me is a disappointment, because I used to like that, because it was overload. And often it was unexpected overload for the opposition. Here comes the centre back running. That's what's going on here. I liked it, but, and here's the big but with a capital B, he's got a mistake in him, and he's got a decision issue. He cost us a goal against West Brom, where he just fell on the floor in front of the only bloke in the box, and the bloke just scored. And then he took I can't, forgive me, John, I can't remember the name of the Swansea player, but he absolutely scythed the Swansea player down when he was almost parallel with the goal on the touchline, so he can't score from there, and he scythed into him and flattened him and given a penalty. Now, you can argue, it wasn't a penalty, this, that, and the other, but it was a rash challenge in the box, whatever it was. So whatever he's thinking in his head, when he makes that decision, he's risking a penalty.
Yeah,
whatever he's thinking, because if you just stand up to the bloke where he is, he can't score. So you don't need to flatten him. And the decision making for me is questionable, and for me, that brings his place in the team under question as well.
I've always found Wout Faz to have his judgment of when to do certain things poor. Like, he's very good at, most of the time he does well. Like, he tracks back, he's good at blocking, he's good with the ball at his feet, passing out from the back. Yes, he's good at that. But as I said, like, when he's chasing a player, if a player's slightly in front of him and he's chasing him, I'm going to think, one, he's going to be sent off, or he's going to get a giveaway penalty. And he's given out twice. He's given away 2 goals this season, like you've said. And he's not consistent enough for me to play continuously. But so, and Hardy said Faz can make a lot of errors, prefer a Coley. Now, for me, this is where me and Simon are going to disagree here, because Simon says that why not try Ben Nelson? And Ben Nelson, before the season started, we were all saying, let's try Vestergaard and Nelson as our, centre halves, because we all know from the last time we got relegated, Vestergaard is a phenomenal championship, one of the best championship defenders there is. He's really, really good in the championship, and we all want to see that. But I think Coley, what I've seen of him, he makes phenomenal blocks. He's puts everything on the line. He puts yes, he's not as good on the ball as Faz is, but he's a lot more better at knowing when to tackle and how to tackle, and I think he's got more consistent with that. Now, you can argue Ben Nelson is good at that. However, what I don't want to see is having Ben Nelson, Jeremy Monga, Elliot Anderson, and Luke and Jake Evans all on the pitch, because you got a lot of inexperience and a lot of experience. I think you need a mixture of young and experienced players, and I think there'll be too much inexperience with Ben Nelson in team as well as all the others, if you know what I mean.
I do. I mean, here's my counter counter argument, and I absolutely respect your opinion. But for me, Ben Nelson is one of the best young talents at the club. He is young, so he's going to have a mistake in him. Like, he's not going to be a perfect finished article yet. He's a quiet lad as well, from what I can make out from the bits I've picked up. But he's large. He's physically big.
Yep.
He plays the game on percentages, and this is the point that I'm making about Faz. Faz, in his own head, thinks he can do something sometimes that he can't, or the decision that he makes to deal with the situation is wrong. I don't think Ben Nelson would do that. I think Ben Nelson would play safe. Now, the other point to make here is if you're only going to win games by 1 goal, you can't have a defender at the back giving one away.
Yeah.
Because that means you ain't going to win the game. You know, so you've got to play percentage football, in my opinion, in defence, if you're only going to score 1 or 2 goals every game at best, because you haven't got a striker that can then get you the goals. So for me, I'd rather see us play safe at the back and play, rather than playing someone who's quite flamboyant in Faz. I'd rather play a safe bet that's just going to play safe football and knock the ball out rather than try and do some wonder tackle.
But do you think Ben Nelson and Vestergaard are too similar of a player? Do you think Ben Nelson, let's say someone runs down the middle, would Ben Nelson be pacey enough to catch up with the striker? Do you think, because Akoli is?
Yeah, I do. I'm not bothered about that. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, that Vestergaard's a bit of an all-tanker in terms of if he gets in a foot race, then there's only one winner. I get that. So he does need someone next to him who's a bit more athletic. Ben Nelson's a young, athletic kid. I'm not worried about that. Akoli is a solid option, another option, a solid. I know, but he's had a few goes now over the last season and a half, and whilst he's been okay, you've never really walked home from a game thinking, "Blimey, Akoli was amazing today." You know, he's just a kind of 6 out of 10 probably type of player at the minute. I'm not saying he won't develop into something better because he's still young, but at the minute, he's not. For me, he's not really providing anything either percentage defensive wise or in attack. Because obviously, the great thing about Vestergaard is he's very good with his
goals.
Yeah, he's great with his feet. He can see a pass. He can make a long pass. He's accurate with his distribution, and like you just said, in set piece situations, he can get a goal. So for me, you know, he's an absolute dead cert.
I mean, well, well, Jordan put a great comment here. At least Ben Nelson wants to play for the badge. Wout Faes has got a bad attitude, I feel. I think he feels like he's better than the Championship, or he doesn't seem passionate about playing for Leicester than he might have done in the past, maybe. But maybe that's what Ben Nelson can offer. But again, this is a situation which Cifuentes has to resolve. Maybe he's happy with Wout Faes, maybe he changes his tactics, or maybe he adapts how he uses Wout Faes to, or just trains him not to bloody go rash in a tackle.
Well, I mean, just to add, John, I could just quickly. There's rumours going around again that there's deals being lined up for Faes in January as well. So, you know, if his agent's in his ear going, "Oh, don't worry about it, you'll be out of here at Christmas," then
don't play him. Don't play him.
I agree. That we can't have that.
If that's true, Cifuentes would have known this. We'll hear this rumor. He'll be told by players or anyone by saying, "Look, Wout Faes head isn't in it," and play Ben Nelson and Akoli. And Jordan says, and I definitely agree with this, we need a new couple of additions, and those 2 additions is going to be centre half and striker, 1,000,000%. There's one other position which we've been debating about on the pitch. I'm happy with the wingers, happy with the fullbacks, no problem with them at all. Jakub Stolarczyk is perfect in goal, but Cam, number 10, that's the position which we need to get a consistent player in, because I don't want to have a rotated player every week. I don't want a different player in that position, because there's the only thing I'm going to give to Daka is when you're a striker, you want that familiarity with the player behind you, so you know what type of balls you're going to get, if any passes you're going to get, so you can predict what's going to happen. But if you get a different player behind you every week, you might have Jacob Reed one week, you might have Page behind you, you might have Anderson behind you. Whose do you think should be that number 10 consistently every week?
I think the key word in what you just said, Jono, is consistently, because so far this season we haven't had a consistent central attacking midfielder. We dabbled with a few players, Page and D. Cordova-Reid's had to go in there, and then we had one game of Jordan James. It's clearly not Jordan James's position. He belongs next to Winks in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea at all. And I think, let's just praise the club here. That Jordan James business, for me, if it's not the best bit of business that was done in the Champions this season, it's certainly up there in the top 3 or 4. He's going to be an outstanding player for our club, and he's already showing that. So, fair play to the club for identifying that and getting him in. For me, there's 2 options this Saturday night. The first one is Bobby D. Cordova-Reid, who I think certainly. I won't speak for everyone else. I'll speak for myself. Hugely underwhelming last season for me. Bobby D. Cordova-Reid didn't really do much. Was a ghost of a player on the pitch a lot of the time. You forgot he was even on the pitch for long periods of games. It wasn't even frustrating. It was just nothing. This season at a lower level, dropped into the number 10 after he's got fit. He's actually looked all right, and I think he's a viable option there. However, he's no spring chicken. He's just been away with Jamaica. I think he scored for Jamaica in one of the 2 games he played. Funny enough, he's had a long flight home, and I imagine he's only just landed back in the UK in the last 24, 48 hours. So, do you play him this on Saturday evening, given the fact he's only going to have a couple of days to recharge his batteries, or do you try the young and ambitious yet a little bit unpredictable Aaron Ramsey in there, who made an absolute mess of his debut, getting sent off at Oxford, but he's clearly passionate about making an impact because he's had a long injury at Burnley and been out. He played well from before that in the Championship, so he's got pedigree in the Championship. But has lost his way there due to being out for ages, and they've basically had to recruit around him and find replacements because he was out for so long, and he's got a point to prove. So given that, for me, I'm kind of leaning personally in the Ramsey camp for this Saturday, purely given for the fact that D. Cordova-Reid's been on the other side of the world for 10 days and he's only just got back. And I think this is if we're going to give Ramsey a chance, I think this is the good time to do it. That's my point. What do you think, Jono?
I completely agree with you. I think Reid played 2 matches in that position. He played against. I think he did it first in West Brom, where I think he played in the position against West Brom. I think that's
yes. So he's had 2 goes at it, mate. Yeah, the last 2 games
against West Brom, he was brilliant. I think he was the best player, one of the best players on the pitch against West Brom. I thought it was really good. But against Swansea, I thought it was poor. I didn't think I didn't think he matched that performance. I didn't think he was energetic enough. I didn't think he was consistent in his passes. I didn't think he was as positive. As soon as Ramsey came on against Swansea, that's when I felt we're going to win. As soon as Ramsey came on, we looked so much more positive. We were much more attacking. Jordan James got more involved in the game. Definitely. I definitely would play Ramsey in that position going forwards, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, give the guy a go. That's all I'm saying. This weekend, give him a go. He's been with the squad the last 10 days. D. Cordova-Reid's been away. He's had them 10 days with Cifuentes, to just further kind of settle himself down. For me, it's the right time to give him a go. And that 10 berth is absolutely still up for grabs to be nailed by one of them to really nail it and demonstrate to the manager that they're the right man for that position for the rest of the season.
And again, this is what I said earlier about positive competition. Cifuentes has got a good headache on his hands, but he can say to these players, look, that position is open. If you don't perform, you ain't going in it. And it's a good opportunity for the players to go, right, I want to earn that position. I want to play in that role. That's between Page, that's between not so much pressure on him because he's so young, but between Ramsey, between Reid. Ayew could maybe step in that position if he wants to get back into the team. That's another option we've got. So all those players are fighting for that position. So it's up to them to prove it. So going into Saturday.
Just one more thing. Sorry to butt in, Jono.
That's okay.
Just really quickly, and this is something that just literally just dropped into my head. Set pieces, free kicks, corners.
Yep.
We don't seem to have a settled taker of them. And when you look when you mentioned Ayew, it just dropped in my head because he seems to be an awful taker of free
He's
kicks and
awful with
corners.
free, especially corners. He just can't be the first man.
We need someone to do that. I mean, I'm hoping. I don't know about you. I'm hoping that Jordan James becomes the man that starts to show a bit of ability of that because we seem to lack that.
I thought
In
Winks was
the
our
style.
free kick taker because if he did he do that in the Championship last time?
Bits. Yeah, I think it depends on the position on the pitch, but I'm talking about set pieces that free kicks around the box where you got a chance to score, or a corner. You know, like where someone's going to.
I thought Fitaro could be doing that because he's very good at slotting that ball top left corner. So maybe it could be Fitaro. Maybe.
I mean, it's frustrating, isn't it, when you see Leicester have 60-something% of the possession and you're getting corner, and every time we take them, we just kick them straight at the first man, and you think, blimey, aren't any of you good enough to take a corner that can create a chance?
Well, Jordan says based off embarrassing and we can't take corners. I mean, to be fair though, we have been quite clever. Remember that corner we did against Swansea where he tried to beat I think Winks ran round and then tried to hit it to Reed in the middle. He passed it to Reed and Reed tried to shoot and he got saved bottom left corner. I think that's what happened. So we're trying different free kick techniques we've done on the training pitch, but I just missed the good old whip it in. Look at Arsenal, the best set piece takers probably in Europe. They don't faff around with it round. They don't pass it short. They don't faff around. They just whip it in, header in every time. Obviously, I'm not saying we're going to Paris to Arsenal, but we need that sort of free kick taker that can put it on a plate every single time or there and thereabouts.
We've got plenty of height in the box when we have a corner. Just get the ball in there for someone to try and get on the end of it. For me,
absolutely. So final things. I want your starting a lineup going into the game against Portsmouth, and I want your score prediction. I'll give mine first. I want to give my team first, just so I don't get influenced by you, and then I want your score prediction and first team. So my first team would be Jakob in goal, Luke Thomas left back, Ricardo right back, Vestergaard. I'll go with your opinion. I'll trust your opinion. I'll go with Nelson. Well, I think you go with Nelson. No, I think we'll go with White Fast again, but I would like Nelson in. Winks and James in front of him. I want Fitaro on the right, Monger on the left. I'll go with Ramsey in the middle and Daka up front. That would be my starting 11. I think we'll win 3-1.
Okay. There's no difference in my team. It's exactly the same. I absolutely think it's time to give Ben Nelson a go. I also think it's time to give Ramsey a go. As you just said, Dick or David Reed's been a bit good and bad, a bit of both. So for me, given the international break, let's give Ramsey a go. He's got a fence to mend with the players, his colleagues, and the fans with that sending off. Give him the chance. I like that lad. I like the way he speaks. He's passionate. He's positive. It's clear he's got a point to prove. He's got pace. So give the kid a go. So I'm all in with you with that team. I don't think at the minute, from what I've seen so far this season, we've got 3 goals in us in one game until we find a striker that can start scoring. So I'm going to go 2-0. I don't think Portsmouth will score this weekend.
Well, let's hope that if White Flash does play, he doesn't make any silly errors and makes us concede a goal. But we appreciate all of you for watching. That's the end of the show. We appreciate all of you watching, sending in comments. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to leave us a like, and don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Simon, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's really appreciated.
Nice to see you, mate. Nice to be back in the saddle. Let's hope we get some points on the table this coming week.
Yes, we need another 3 points to stick behind Coventry. I don't know who else is ahead of us. Is it Middlesbrough?
It's Middlesbrough by 2 points, Jono.
They've just changed their logo, by the way. It's another circle badge.
All right. The shield is gone, is it?
Yeah, the shield's gone. For next season, it's going to be a circle with a line on it. But cheers, thank you so much for watching. We've got a show on Sunday, Famous Aftermath show. I don't know if Jamie will be starting that show. I think he might be. And we've got Phil for the oh my God, I've got baby brain.
It's me this Monday, Jono. I'm in for Phil. Yeah, he's otherwise engaged this Monday, so it's me.
Yeah, we'll be joining Simon on Monday for the what show? I've got baby brain. Forgot what it's called.
Fan Zone.
That's it. Join us, Simon, on Monday for the Fan Zone show. We've got a great weekend, and hopefully you have enjoyed watching Leicester. Hopefully it's a win, and we'll see you all next time.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live, thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Pucker Pies, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Fox's Arms.
Want to watch more content like this? Hit the like button. Give us your views. Hit subscribe to Leicester Fan TV and make sure to follow us on all socials.